My name is Rochelle, and I live in rural Louisiana. Always have. Born right here in Saint Germaine Parish, same as my mama and her mama before her. It's a quiet place, just the way we like it. Folks wave when they pass, and the frogs and cicadas sing you to sleep every night. The swamp's always been part of us, green and thick and older than anything we know how to measure. People here respect it. Stay out of it after dark. Keep your porch light on and your prayers short. But lately, things have changed. It started maybe 6 months ago. Little things at first, pets going missing, weird noises by the water. Then kids, one by one, just gone. And no one says much anymore, just lock their doors and stare at the trees. Rochelle stands on her porch, staring out at the swamp. The early light hits her face, tired, watchful, grieving. This place used to feel like home. Now it just feels like it's waiting for something, or maybe someone. 3 weeks ago, my little boy, Elijah, disappeared. They say maybe he wandered, maybe he drowned, but I know my boy, and I know something's out there. People here don't talk about it, but I've seen the lights, and I'm not pretending anymore. Dim morning light filters through a kitchen window. The hum of cicadas fades in. Rochelle sits at a wobbly table, nursing a lukewarm cup of coffee. A soft breeze turns the pages of a worn notebook filled with Elijah's drawings. On the wall, a cluster of missing posters. Elijah's is the freshest. Eli Duvall, age 6, last seen July 3rd. They said it was an accident, that maybe he got turned around, but Eli never went near the water without me. He knew better. Rochelle walks down Main Street just a few blocks from her home. Buildings lean like tired men. A church bell chimes. Like so many small towns in America built 100 years ago, people avoid her gaze. A woman whispers at a register while Rochelle grabs a can of beans. As she is walking, an old woman whispers, "She's still looking. Foolish. Swamp took him, like the others." She didn't say it quiet enough as Rochelle heard it. No one helps. Not really. They don't want to get close to something they think's already lost. She wanders around to burn the day away until it is time. Time when she can actually find Eli. At dusk, she is back home. Crickets hum, the porch light buzzes. Rochelle lights a cigarette, exhales slowly, eyes on the dark edge of the swamp. She thinks she knows what she is looking for, a certain sign. A rumor she's heard whispered in town, eyes scanning back and forth. Then a faint golden glow emerges in the distance, drifting just above the reeds, flickering like an old oil lamp being carried through thick air. She squints. Knock, knock, knock. Startled, she spins around toward the house window. No one there. Just the reflection of that same faint glow, now closer. She steps off the porch, walking toward the woods, but stops at the edge. That was the first time I saw the light. I told myself it was swamp gas, headlights, but I knew better. She walks the perimeter, but the light, it's pretty far out into the murky water of the swamp. She knows it well. That water, if she was to walk it, would be up to her stomach. Very dangerous to go wading through at dusk with all the gators in these parts. The light heads west, and she paces it from dry land, but it never got any closer. After several minutes, the light fades into the distance. Defeated, she walks back to her house. She is exhausted, hardly slept at all in days. Rochelle opens the door to a child's room, preserved in time. A dinosaur print comforter, a plastic truck under the bed, a crayon drawing taped to the wall. Me and Mama, by the water. She studies the drawing. Only now does she notice, behind the stick figures, half faded and gray, a strange glowing shape, almost human, standing in the trees. Her hand shakes. They call them the Lantern Men. Some say they're spirits, others say they're something older. They come for the ones who grieve too long, and if you follow them into the fog, you don't come back. The next day, after a fistful of hours of sleep, she leaves the house mid-morning. A crumbling chapel sits near the edge of the swamp, its paint peeling, windows dusted with dirt and moss. A few graves sink into the soft earth nearby, their markers crooked and barely legible. Spanish moss sways above like hanging shrouds. Rochelle kneels by a small wooden cross stuck in the ground, an unmarked plot where they said Elijah might be. Her fingers press into the dirt. They gave me a place to grieve. No body, no answers, just a patch of land and a name carved into pine, like that was supposed to be enough. She stands, wiping her hands. In the distance, a figure sits motionless on a bench beneath a crooked oak. The man is Delmar, late 60s, blind, with pale, glassy eyes and leathery skin like dried bark. He wears suspenders over a threadbare shirt, and a wooden walking stick rests beside him. His head turns as Rochelle approaches, though his eyes never meet hers. He is softly humming to himself as she draws nearer. Delmar, you saw the lights, didn't you? Rochelle pauses mid-step. No one's spoken to her like that. What lights? Delmar smiles faintly. You don't gotta lie. I can hear it on you, the way your breath pulls, like the fog already knows your name.
She doesn't respond, just stares, and slowly takes a seat beside him, keeping a few feet between them. Delmar doesn't face her. His cloudy eyes remain fixed forward, toward the tree line beyond the graves. They've been around longer than us, ain't ghosts, like folks like to say. Ghosts are what's left behind. These things, they come before. Before what? Before the morning, before the forgetting, before the water takes hold of your heart. A heavy silence settles between them. The distant sound of frogs fades. Even the bugs seem to stop. What do they want? Not want, need. They feed on ache, on guilt, on people stuck between holding on and letting go. Delmar replies, You think they took Elijah? I think Elijah's gone, but you're the one they're after now. With that said, Delmar begins to softly hum to himself again. Half stunned, half not knowing what to ask next, Rochelle stands, brushes her skirt off, and walks back home. She decides she needs to get some groceries as well. She has not gotten anything in weeks, and the canned shelf is sparse. She gets into her car and started up to leave, realizing her car is on fumes as well. She sighs deeply in just utter exhaustion. Everything just seems like too much these days. She reverses out of her driveway and heads to the local gas station. Rochelle pumps gas at a flickering station just off the gravel road. The lights buzz overhead. A no service sign glows in the window. As she is standing there, waiting for the pump to fill her tank, she starts scanning the perimeter. Other than Main Street, just about any property is going to have one or more of its sides to the woods or swamps. She glances across the road, into the trees. A dim golden light pulses between the trunks, slowly drifting. She drops the nozzle. Gasoline spills. Her eyes go wide. It's closer than before. A low humming, like wind moving through bone. Once you see them, they don't stop showing up. Every shadow, every flicker, your heart jumps, and deep down, some part of you wants to follow. She slams the pump off and walks briskly towards the light. Once again, it seems to pace her like it is going away at her. She cannot seem to get closer to see what it is. Then suddenly, it's gone. Rochelle stands there in the edge of the woods, scanning for a bit, but after not seeing or hearing anything for a while, she walks back to her car. She needs to tell someone about this. She starts her car back up and heads towards Main Street. A single light hangs from the ceiling. Deputy Ellis, mid-40s, tired and skeptical, pours coffee into a chipped mug. Rochelle sits across from him, arms crossed tightly, eyes red. I know how it sounds, but I'm not crazy. I saw something, twice. I've felt it. Rochelle, we've combed the whole west side of the swamp. I've had trackers, dogs, even drones. There's nothing out there but mud and water and trees, Ellis says softly. Then how do you explain the others? The missing, the lights? He exhales, sets the mug down slowly. Every few years, it happens. Kids vanish, pets too. Fog rolls in heavier, and folks get scared, start talking about the lantern men again. My daddy used to say the swamp just gets hungry sometimes. He pauses, looks her dead in the eyes. Don't let it eat you, too. Stars are fading. Fog rolls low like smoke. Rochelle stands barefoot at the edge of the swamp. Elijah's blanket clutched in her hands. She has been out all night once again. She listens. Silence. Then, from deep in the trees, a faint child's voice. Mama, I'm cold. She swore it was Eli's voice. Her breath catches. She takes one step forward, then another. The blanket drops to the grass. They say the lantern men can't speak, but they remember the ones you miss. They wear their voices like masks. The glow appears, clear and close now, gliding just beyond the first row of trees. It pauses, as if waiting. Fog clings to Rochelle's legs as she steps off the grass and into the waterlogged dirt. The trees loom like sentinels. Her breaths are shallow. The air is thick, every sound muffled by the moisture. She carries nothing. No flashlight, no phone, only the memory of her son's voice calling from the dark. The glow moves between trees ahead, never too fast, never too far. It pulses faintly, as if keeping pace with her heartbeat. Grief is like water out here. You think you've dried yourself out. Then it seeps back in. One step, one sound, one memory. Rochelle follows a narrow path carved through dense reeds and knotted roots. The trees crowd in around her, forming almost a tunnel. She hears whispers, not words but tones, sad, soft, like lullabies hummed underwater. Something moves just out of frame, not animals, not people, figures. One lantern light becomes 2, then 3, all drifting. A distant splash, a low growl, a child's laugh followed by silence. They were guiding me, but not out. They were leading me deeper, like they'd done this 100 times before. In a clearing, Rochelle finds a half-sunken, flat-bottomed skiff tied loosely to a stump. Moss and lichen cover its wood. Inside, tiny handprints are smeared along the seat. Some are fresh. She climbs in. The lanterns float across the water like stars fallen from the sky. The boat moves on its own, drifting across black water that reflects nothing, not sky, not trees, as if she's left the world behind. The boat glides into a clearing surrounded by bent, waterlogged trees. The lantern lights stop, floating now above the water like spirits with no faces. Their shapes are tall, too tall, heads bowed, arms too long. They shimmer like heat waves, no feet, no mouths, just that slow, hypnotic pulse of light. In the water around Rochelle's boat, reflections begin to rise, not of the creatures, but of children. Dozens of faces, barely breaking the surface, blank-eyed, still, Elijah among them. I saw my son, but he didn't look at me. None of them did. It was like they were trapped behind a pane of glass, alive somewhere, but not here. She suddenly looks up as she realizes the lights had gotten really close to her. Her mind raced, trying to process just exactly what she was seeing. Clearly there was a lamp floating in the air, emanating bright light. But once her eyes adjusted to it, she could see the shape behind it. But it is moved, distorted, like it was here 1 second and gone the next. It was in the shape of a man or person, holding the lantern up in the air with one arm. One of the lantern men steps forward, closer than the others. Its body shifts with unnatural grace, as if made of smoke, wrapped in cloth. It raises one long hand and offers Rochelle a lantern. It floats just inches from her chest, warm, soft, humming. Her hand twitches. Inside the lantern, a flickering shadow, Elijah's shape. I knew what it meant, to take it, to stay. I could be near him, but I'd never be myself again. Suddenly the swamp vanishes, and Rochelle is standing in her kitchen again, sun shining, coffee brewing. Elijah is at the table, giggling, drawing. He looks up at her and smiles. "You came back, Mama," Elijah said excitedly. She drops to her knees, sobbing, holding him tight. But something's wrong. His skin is cold. His heartbeat, absent. A muffled, dripping noise, like water hitting wood. The wallpaper starts peeling. The sunlight turns gray. She pulls back and sees his eyes glowing faintly golden. "You don't have to miss me anymore. Just stay." The world swirls and shifts again. Back in the boat, lantern still in front of her. Rochelle reaches out, fingers trembling, and touches the lantern. Her breath catches. Her skin begins to pale. Eyes gloss over. Then she stops, pulls her hand back. Her voice shakes, but is firm. I love you, baby, but you're not him. She picks up the lantern and throws it into the water. A brilliant splash of gold erupts, light shooting upward like fire underwater. The lanterns scream, but not in sound. The trees shake, the water roils, the figures begin to shimmer violently, some flickering out entirely. The boat lurches, tipping. Water crashes in every direction. Trees lean. The fog turns black and fast, rushing toward her like a living thing. Rochelle leaps from the boat and runs through the water, chest deep, clawing at vines and roots. The forest bends and moans like it's trying to keep her inside. But ahead, a light. Not gold. White. Real. Daylight. She stumbles out onto dry ground, coughing, soaked, shaking. The swamp behind her, silent again. The sun filters through the trees in golden beams. Rochelle stumbles up the steps of her house, soaked and gasping, knees scraped, clothes torn. Her porch creaks beneath her weight as she drops onto the swing. The swamp behind her is calm again, deceptively normal. She clutches Elijah's blanket to her chest, mud-stained, but still warm from her body heat. I don't know how I got back. The path was gone. The boat sank. But something let me go. Maybe because I made the choice. Or maybe it just wasn't finished with me yet. Rochelle sits across from Deputy Ellis again, this time in dry clothes, hair still damp. A styrofoam cup of bad coffee steams on the desk between them. Her hands are bandaged, her eyes tired but sharper now. Ellis leans forward, cautious. You're lucky you made it out. People don't usually find their way once they go off trail. You sure you didn't hit your head? Hallucinate? I found Elijah, but he's not here anymore. And whatever's out there, those lights, those things, they're still waiting. And they'll come again, for someone else, Rochelle said softly. After a few more days, Rochelle decided it was time to start moving forward again. She let work know she was coming back on Monday. Rochelle stands in front of a small class of kids writing Bayou Ecology on a chalkboard. A girl in the front row fidgets with a crayon. A boy yawns. Everything feels normal, real, but Rochelle moves differently now. Calmer, but watchful. Every sound from outside makes her flinch, even just slightly. She glances out the window at the distant tree line. Fog curls low, harmless in the light. She stares too long. She makes sure to warn the children about lights in the swamp, but of course leaving out the bit about lamp men. It felt good to once again have a normal routine. She lies awake in bed, staring at the ceiling. A glass of water sweats on the nightstand. Elijah's drawing is framed on the wall now, me and Mama by the water, but the glowing figure in the background has been erased. A small gesture of peace, or denial. Knock, knock, knock. Her eyes dart to the window. Nothing. But when she looks at her hands, for just a split second, her fingertips glow faintly gold. The swamp doesn't take everyone, just the ones who ache the loudest. I still see him sometimes, in dreams, in the fog, in the corners of old pictures I know I've seen 1,000 times. The ache doesn't go away, but it changes. The swamp gave me back just enough to carry it, and I know it's still out there, waiting, listening, for someone else to cry just loud enough to be heard. If you enjoyed this chilling journey into the bayou, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell for more original horror stories every week.
This is a new channel, so every little bit means a ton to me if you can. What would you do if you saw the lanterns in the swamp? Drop a comment below. And remember, some lights aren't meant to be followed.